Something undeniably evil is happening in front of so many people from a multi-billion-dollar company, and nobody is even trying to do anything about it. I mean, okay, I'm talking about the situation with Roblox. Yes, there are a lot of people who are aware. If you don't know, there's this guy named Schlep. He's a YouTuber, and what he does is just catch predators online. And I'm sure you guys have heard about all of it before. I'm just here to rant about it because, oh my God, how can a company this big be getting away with something just so undeniably evil? How do you just. And there's no excuse for it either. What's even more shocking is that they're just kind of letting this happen, and they're also defending it. They're defending literally sending a cease and desist to a guy who catches predators. I'm sorry, but okay. I'm just seriously trying to understand how a whole company could be this brain dead. And how are some people actually siding with this? And they have this new rule, right? It's called no vigilantes. And I think the whole reason why, something I kind of side with, right, is yeah, I guess it wouldn't be good for some people to find predators and not immediately report them to like the proper authorities. I agree with that. Like if you find a predator or like a literal criminal, committing a felony, like yes, you shouldn't mess around with that and post a YouTube video before actually doing anything serious. And I completely agree with that. But that's not what Schlep was doing. That's not what a lot of other people catching predators were doing. Why are you banning these people? And I wouldn't even be that mad if the Roblox moderation was alright. I'm a Roblox player. I've been playing this game since like 2019. I've been playing it for um and I've been watching it for even longer, right? I have It's never been that safe of a platform for starters, right? But it's increasing popularity, and I feel it's starting to get even worse, right? We start from those like Meep City parties with a bunch of inappropriate activity. Yeah, they took care of that. That was good. But nowadays, if you go on the Roblox like exploring page and you just scroll down, it is like immediately recommended you to play Bathroom Simulator, to play Girls and Boys Hangout, to play all these games that are literally just like sex simulators. And that is so insane to have that inside a game that is advertised for children. And I get the excuse like, okay, there's so many games, there's just so many people out there, right? Moderation, it's not going to be that easy. They said there was like billions of games being uploaded a day, billions of new users, not billions, but a lot, right? And that's a lot to get through moderation, and I understand that. So, wouldn't it make more sense to actually like side with the people who are helping you? Why are you against all the people that are helping you with moderation? That aren't just helping with moderation, but doing even more than moderation. Schlep has put people in jail. How many times has Roblox done that to actual predators? No, they just banned them. They don't even send a cease and desist to actual predators. Sorry, I was just making sure I was still recording. Um, I don't want to cut this video. I don't even have a video editing software. Too lazy to get one. I want to keep this real. This isn't the first time that a big company has kind of gotten away with this. And I'm not saying Roblox has gotten away with this. I think there's a lot of people who are now aware of this, which I'm so happy about. But there are a lot of other instances where big companies have done crazy shit like this, and it just simply hasn't gotten the same kind of traction, and not a lot of people are aware about it. And I think Roblox probably thought they could get away with this too, because you have to realize, like, pedophiles are everywhere. They're a lot more common than you think. And I might be demonetized for saying the word pedophile, but that's the word that should be used. I'm not going to censor myself, you know? I hate censorship. If somebody's a pedophile, they're pedophiles. I'm going to say a pedophile. I'm not going to try to censor it, say PDF file. Words are words for a reason. They're to describe what they mean. I shouldn't have to censor that. Okay? They're called that so that I can actually communicate what is going on, and so I don't have to dumb it down for people who are maybe a little bit more ignorant. They don't want to hear the word pedophile. It's not appropriate. Yeah, it's not appropriate. You think I'm okay with that? No, nobody's okay with that. But it's what's going on in the world. People have to be able to communicate that honestly, and they have to be able to just say the right words for it. They shouldn't have to be looking for alternatives, you know? And that's something that I've personally been taught from a very young age. Whenever I was to talk about, obviously, um, like private areas, right? Especially with like, because there was a lot of awareness against like child, sexual abuse, right? That was something that I was made aware of, along a lot of other kids, um, in my classroom. And if you were to ever like describe something that's happened to you, you shouldn't be using alternative words. You shouldn't be saying, um, I can't even think of any. Like, you should be like using the right words for that, right? My penis, my vagina. You shouldn't be like, yes, they're uncomfortable to say sometimes, but that's just because the world has censored it so much. These are the right words to use. We should use them. We shouldn't be afraid to use them. They should, like, maybe they might be disgusting in the context, especially if you're a victim talking about what happened to yourself, but you need to say the right words. Like, these words are powerful. Trying to find an alternative for them is just, it's kind of like demeaning the actual word, you know? Demeaning the purpose that you're using it for. I'm sorry. I just kind of went on a whole rant about that, but it's true. Like, it really pisses me off when people are like too shy to say something, because this shouldn't be something that's so stigmatized. And I know it's not really anybody's fault for using those words. They're just used to that, right? From all the media, they're saying, oh, my lady bits, oh, my, I don't know what the hell else they use. My kitty cat, like, sure, in a joking kind of place, like, sure, use those words. But especially when you're talking seriously about these topics, I don't think that you should be using these words. I think you should be using the proper words, and that's not only for that, but that's for everything else that is serious. If you're talking about sexual assault, if you're talking about rapists, you need to say the word rapist, you know? Yeah. And it just frustrates me again so much that people do get like demonetized and get like censored by social media and by the internet just for saying these words. This shouldn't be stigmatized at all. These words should be normal to use. They shouldn't have to have a censor on it. It's not like I'm saying a slur. These are words that should be used, especially in serious situations. Yeah. I mean, I'm only 17 and I know that. That's just the way I was raised, and I'm happy I was raised that way. I don't think it doesn't make sense to use just alternative words. But back on topic, what was I talking about? Oh, right, the whole situation with Roblox. What's even more crazier is that they're defending themselves, you know? It's okay to make a mistake. I mean, obviously horrible mistake to make. I wouldn't even forgive them for that mistake. But then doubling down and tripling down, they came up with a huge um paragraph on their site or article or whatever, and they were like literally just defending themselves. There is nothing you can say to defend yourself from protecting pedophiles. There is nothing. Banning the people who make your environment safer, who make the Roblox platform safer from pedophiles, instead of banning pedophiles themselves, there is no excuse for that. And it is insane to even want to excuse that. Just the intention in the first place. It is insane to have that intention to want to excuse that. It is such a huge red alarm, and I I hate to say this, but I'm not even surprised. This is a common thing. I had um in my experience, there's been a lot of people in authority in charge of bigger things. Like at my old school, yes, there are a bunch of older people who have these twisted, distorted views with very questionable intentions. Um, and it's so hard to get these people out of their positions because they're already in power. They've already stepped up to those positions and they're already trusted with those positions, right? And especially when, in my case, I was just a little kid. What am I gonna say, you know? My opinion didn't really matter at all. I mean, compared to, say, like, a principal who was literally abusing me, what is my word against theirs, you know? It's nothing compared to their word. They have built a reputation and a relationship with, like, everybody around them. What what am I gonna do? And it's the exact same situation if we continue to just spread these words but in between ourselves and we don't reach out and tell people around us, like people who can actually help, right? Like with this Roblox situation, genuinely just making people who are more in authority than us. I'm just a 17-year-old. What the hell am I gonna do? I'm gonna tell other people who have their kids playing on Roblox, I'm gonna tell them that's not a safe platform. I'm going to try to protect as many people as I can. Just like how I'm going to tell all my friends, oh, the principal's kind of sketch. You should probably be avoiding her. You should probably be careful around her. And I'll try my best to kind of take her, to talk to, you know, bigger authorities and say, oh, my principal did all this messed up stuff to me. We should be concerned, you know? It's really just about spreading awareness. And I think already the internet is so saturated with content, it's hard to get attention to these kind of things, especially since it happens so much. You will find so many cases of injustice on the internet by big companies and big corporations, but after a while, nobody really does anything about it. I mean, again, talking about the same thing I talked about last video, everybody does have their own lives, and they do, at the end of the day, um, need to take care of their own shit. They can't just always be advocating and spreading words of stuff going on because there's a lot of stuff going on. The world is fucked up. if I made a video of every single fucked up thing going on a bigger scale, not even a smaller scale, because there's fucked up things going on to literally everybody, but if I talked about even just big corporations, big companies, like doing crazy shit like this, I'd be making millions of videos a week. And it's common, and I'm glad that at least some situations are being talked about, like this one with Roblox. Um, but it disappoints me that only some situations are being talked about. And that doesn't mean that I'm going to go out of my way to find as many situations as I can and spread the word about them. I can't. There's only so much I can do as a human. There's only so much we can do as a community. But I'm just upset that this problem exists to begin with. And I'm going to try my best to help with as many as I can. But realistically, problems like these are going to persist. And it's horrible to say, but I think that's just the reality of things. I wish that everything got the attention it deserves. But it's not always like that. And that disappoints me. I guess it's just like another realization you get while growing up. I think especially this summer, I've done a lot of reflecting on things going on in the outer world apart from me. Last year, I was really trying to figure out my own identity. I was 16. I was like, who the hell am I? And I was just trying to piece together all my core values. This year, 17, I'm looking around me. I'm sorry, my bangs look really weird. It's okay. I'm not doing this for the aesthetics. I'm just trying to spread what's on my mind. This is more of an online diary type of thing, but other than only being an online diary, this is also just to spread my thoughts. I think it's important that everybody shares their thoughts. The internet should be saturated with people sharing their thoughts. Even if they don't agree with my thoughts, I think everybody should continue to have that freedom of speech and try to reach to as many people as they can. Um, and it's important to also um, try not to understand, but at least to see other opinions other than yourselves. Um, and to not only consume content that is only your opinion or only your worldview. And by that I mean like I think especially with the algorithms for social media and stuff, you're only fed content that you agree with. And it's good, it's validating in a way to see other people that agree with your opinions, but um I think it's also harmful. I think you should, because the world isn't always going to have the same opinions as you. You should also be looking at other opinions and other um personalities and thoughts that other people have. I think that's also very important, not only just to educate yourself, but also to strengthen your own beliefs. If you see some, like, you need to educate yourself on other opinions and other views so that you could be even more confident in your own views. And, or maybe not even confident, maybe you'll change your mind. It's all about educating yourself and trying to gain more knowledge. And, that's also something that I think everybody should do. So, two things everybody should do. One, express their opinion on the internet. Two, educate themselves on other views. And I think three is being willing to take criticism. So, as I said, I don't think I said this, but I write this in every description. Um, I'm still young. I still am not too educated about the world around me, but I am very open to criticism and other thoughts. So if you do have other thoughts and maybe something you want to add or something you don't agree with, please just write it down in the comments. I am so happy when people comment stuff, even if it's a hate comment. Well, maybe not a hate comment, but even if it's a comment like criticizing me or disagreeing with me, that is so beautiful, and I love it when people express themselves. And I think that the world should be more around that. Oh, okay. Anyways, that's enough talking for today. I will see you on the next one. Bye.